At least things are a little bit better in the realm of they scored in the first half. They have scored in the second half. And at least it's a win, right? I mean, what else do you want to say? What else do you want to say? The Packers 20-3 right now with just under 2 minutes to go in this contest. And you've got the Packers that fumbles, you had an interception, you had terrible officiating in the first half of this game. You had pre-snap penalties again. This was a myriad of crap against a bad football. I don't know what to make of it. I mean, a win is a win. You take it. Okay, you stack the success. 20-3. I guess you can look at it on one hand and say, you know what, the defense did their job. Losing Kenny Clark to a shoulder injury and having guys like Rasul Douglas gone, Darnell Savage down. You had some of your better playmakers on defense not even there, and the defense did their job. Statistically, the defense is going to rise because of this one. They're going to rise because of this one. 20-3, going to be the final before it's all said and done, and that's the way it's going to wind up. But not a great day at the office by any stretch. Jordan Love, not a bad day, though. He had one drop. I mean, very, very vivid drop. But 20 of 26, 228 yards, a touchdown. Connected a couple of times downfield. I saw some good. I saw some bad. I saw a guy like T.J. Slayton on back-to-back-to-back plays get pushed around, and the effort wasn't there. I saw Christian Watson dogging a couple of routes, and then I saw Christian Watson go up and fight for a football. So maybe they're taking some strides. We'll have to wait and see. But nevertheless, you take it as a win. Good to have you on board. If you want to chime in, 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. You can give us a shout. If you want to chime in, email thebillmichaels@gmail.com. That's thebillmichaels@gmail.com. And you can also find us over on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/thebillmichaelsshow, facebook.com/thebillmichaelsshow. And then you can also track us down on Instagram. You can find us on YouTube. Great way to watch the program. YouTube.com/Bill Michaels Show. YouTube.com/Bill Michaels Show. William says, not ugly at all. Oh, William, it was ugly. I don't know what your definition of not being ugly is, but that was an ugly game. You had guys lining up in the neutral zone. You had drop passes. You had penalties. You had 7 penalties in the first half of this contest. Then you had fumbles, not 1 but 2. So, but everything looked a little better. If you can overcome the problems and still get a win, and not a bad way to go. Jordan Love on the pass that was in the first half to Christian Watson, the deep ball into the corner in the end zone. If that's anywhere near on the mark, it's a touchdown, and this thing becomes a runaway. But it's still an underthrown pass. poorly underthrown. Is what you put it this way: when Larry McCarron alludes to the pass being kind of a poorly thrown ball, and Larry's about as kind can get, you know it's a bad ball. So there was a lot of ugly, but if you can win ugly, then take it, right? Take it. So Packers trying to close this one out with just over 1:30 to go in this contest, and they're still pushing the ball downfield, and so they're eventually gonna win this thing. But what did we learn today? What did we learn today? Daniel said, well, the Rams are a high school team. JL says they only won because it was a backup quarterback. JL, here's the thing. The defense played extremely well. They gave them the ball back. They did what they were supposed to do. I mean, I don't know what else you want them to do. So there you have it. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. This is from Thomas. Thomas says, hey, guys, a win is a win, but it doesn't give me a lot of hope for the future. I still feel like the Detroit Lions are going to pound the hell out of us. Jamie says, I'm happy they won. I learned that the Pack's probably going to still lose the next 4 games. 2 bad teams, and their offense is not good. Love still can't see the entire field. There was a couple of times today, Daniel, observation-wise, I wrote in my notes that he had a couple of guys open and waited a little bit too long to throw the football. So it was, I agree with you. Look, not pretty. It wasn't a style points victory, but 20-3, you get the win. You get your 3rd win of the season. You walk away, you take it, you move on, right? And we do know Christian Watson went up, came down, did not look good. So we'll see after the ball game. But we got a lot going on. I talked with Mike Clemens inside the press box a little bit earlier today before I came over from Lambeau to come to Burkle's 1 block over. And we were talking a little bit about this game. I'll give you the conversation. I'll give you the conversation. Let me, Mark, hang on to that thought when it comes to Jaire, because Jaire played better as the game went on. But early on in this contest, the first couple of passes that were completed in front of Jaire. Jaire is the one that missed on the coverage on 2 of the 4 first completed passes. So he looked good, but not great. But we were up in the press box today, and it seems to be now. I gotta say that a lot of the times the media can be sarcastic. And I'm sure you're thinking to yourself, no, yeah. And today it was just, oh, God, another glorified edition of craptastic football. Are you ready for this lame game? This battle of nobodies, on and on and on. And as the game went on, specifically the first half, it was as the field goal was missed, a few people around me said, thank God that half is over. I can't get that last 40 minutes of my life back. And then they came out in the second half, played a little bit better football, at least something to kind of write home about. But again, hey, they scored in the first half. They put up a touchdown. You take it. Daniel says Love can barely throw to a wide-open receiver downfield. The Packers are going to mess around and draft the most unpolished defensive player with the 13th overall, according to Matthew. So many casuals love to complain, just to complain. Jesus, let me ask you this, though. What? Are they wrong? Are they wrong? There's a lot of things that you can pick to complain about. Remember, there's a lot of things that you can look at and go, yeah, this isn't good, right? So I don't think they're wrong. I'm glad the Packers won. I'll say that, because hope springs eternal, right? But they still got, they are lacking talent in a lot of areas. And I think as the season goes on, this is as the season goes on, this is going to be an evaluation of the talent level on this team. And I think this would be evaluation level of the people that are putting the talent on this team. Now, this team's going to have a lot of money to spend next year. And we know that Brian Gutekunst has been pretty good about spending money on free agent pickups. Been pretty good in that area. Better than the drafts. So maybe, just maybe, they're able to fortify this team with some more talent, get themselves a wide receiver or two that can really come in and help. I don't want to hear this, we have to develop the young guys, so we're not going to get anybody. No, not going to happen. You can't. You've got to figure out something offensively. You've got to get some offensive help and firepower. And so, anyway, long story short, it's going to be interesting going into next year. But we're not done with this season yet. Not done. Next week, they're on the road taking on Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh before they come back home and then take on the Chargers, and then a short turnaround when they head into the Thanksgiving Day game over in Detroit. So got a lot of football left to play. 877-867-1670. If you want to find us, feel free. Go ahead and do so. Again, 877-867-1670. Right out of the chute, let's get to our buddy Gerard listening to us in Delaware. Gerard, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, Bill. I thought Moose Johnson said it perfectly. He said love is aiming the ball and not throwing it. When he had Heath over the middle, and he should have made the catch even though it was a low throw, he should have hit him in the numbers on the move.
Right.
The throw he threw the Musgrave on the left-hand side, if he looped it, Musgrave catches it and walks into the end zone, right?
Right.
The play call where he hit Musgrave for the touchdown was a great call. I mean, look, Watson goes up, finally makes a catch, a contested catch, and he comes down, and then he has to go off the field. These are the issues you have to look at. I saw a tweet from a Green Bay writer, and I won't name him, that said nobody's complaining about Barry's defense today. Look, they played a quarterback, with all due respect, that doesn't even belong in the NFL. Okay, they did play decent defense. They played more aggressively. I'm not, but please don't snow the fans. We don't need that. We're not all dumb. You know what I mean? We see this and we see what's going on here. I liked Anthony Johnson. I like their enthusiasm today. I thought that was great.
Right.
All right. But like you said, they're missing a lot of talent on this team. And you know, you don't know now. You don't know anything about Watson. He finally makes a catch and he's got to go up the field again. Mm-hmm. But you know, like I said, the rest of the year is going to be a talent and a coaching and a GM evaluation for sure. And they are going to have to add a lot of pieces. And look, I didn't want, to be honest with you, Bill, I didn't want them to win this game. I'm looking for the draft pick. Come on, I'm a Green Bay fan since Park Star and the whole bit. But I know when they're not going to go anywhere, okay? And I know when it's going to be necessary. And they're going to have to make a hard choice with a quarterback. I want to know, to everybody out there, how come this guy was with this team about 4 years and he doesn't know the difference between letting the ball go and aiming the ball? Is it just nervousness? Is it just, what is it? What is it that this guy is just consistently doing that? And every throw is contested. He had Watson deep, he underthrows him. Every other player is behind him. It doesn't, I just don't know what to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I'm evaluating this guy, I'm not giving him an A. I'm not giving him a B. I'm giving him maybe a D, and that's about it.
Right.
Because, you know, and the only thing I see today is more enthusiasm. And then you got a veteran offensive lineman lining up twice offside. I mean, how does that happen?
Now, let me ask you this, Gerard. Let me ask you this, because they had to show that on TV. From our perspective, when they showed it on the big screen, I could not see for the life of me, other than maybe where a hand was a finger further than the ball. I have no idea where they were seeing a helmet or a head lined up further in the neutral zone.
Well, let me tell you this. As far as what I seen on TV, it didn't look like he was offside, but his helmet was barely touching where the ball was, or, you know what I mean? And that's what they were saying. I didn't even see that, to be honest with you.
Right.
For me, my opinion is the refs had to be looking for that. In other words, for some reason, you know how some refs call holding calls more than others and this and that? These guys had to be looking for that because and to be called on the same guy twice, it was just, you know, and don't forget Runyon's father is head of the rules committee in the NFL.
Right.
So, you know, for all this to go on, you know, I didn't see it. I mean, they didn't show a perfect angle, like right down the line. So they showed it like for a 3/4 angle. So you still couldn't really tell. So I just don't know. And you know, that was real strange to me.
Yeah.
You know, I could imagine that happens in the league about 50 times, you know, a week.
Right.
But, you know, they decided that these are the guys to call it. But still, it was a veteran guy doing it, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
you know, you got to look at it that way. If it was the rookie, the third-round pick that, you know, got on the field today, actually, if it was him, they would say it was a rookie mistake, okay? But this guy did it twice in the same game, and if it was a big game and it mattered, it could have cost them the game. So what I see out of Love, to be honest with you, he looks awful nervous out there. Maybe he doesn't like when he's calm when he talks, but he looks like he's very nervous out there to me, and that's why he's throwing the ball late. He's trying to be perfect with the ball, or that's just the way he is, and we're going to have to look for a quarterback because you cannot have a quarterback in the NFL that's doing that.
That is called, Gerard, appreciate the phone call. That is called when you normally you can just throw it, you know, and you throw it, you don't think about it, whatever, and then you throw it and it's just bad. It's called, we used to call it the yips. You got the yips for whatever reason. You're just, you know, you're aiming a ball or you think it's so wide open. All I got to do is this. And you think about it too much rather than just gripping it and ripping it, letting it go. And he's had it. He's had it almost his entire career. Even going back to college, there were times that he'd have wide open guys or guys that all he had to do was lead them, and then they could really kind of break away. And he doesn't do it, not consistently. And it's you're seeing a lot of what others saw, and everybody said, well, once he gets into the pros, they'll fix that. Sometimes it's not fixable. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to sit here and just rip Jordan Love. But I think there's enough problems, don't get me wrong. But I'll say this. There were times today, Gerard, where he had guys running routes and nobody was open. And they don't have the ability, specifically in short space inside the red zone, where they don't create their own space. They just don't have it. They don't do it very well. Then when there are guys that get open and you can see the play, the way it's designed, it's a thing of beauty. And here comes a receiver or a tight end, and they're crossing, and you can see the receiver over the top pulling the corner and the safety downfield, and the space open up. And as we see it, the ball should be in the air. The ball should already be in the air, and he waits too long. He doesn't recognize it, or he doesn't trust it, so he doesn't recognize it, and he throws it too late, and then it's contested. So both things, man, both things happen, and I completely agree with you. Completely agree with you. No doubt about it. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. We're live. We're here at Burkle's, one block over. The game just got over. You got some people here that are going to start filling in. Packers fans will start filling this place up. So if you're within the sound of my voice, you want to come on over, come on over. Come on over and hang out with us. Stay tuned. We got a whole lot more of the Green and Gold postgame show coming up right after this.
This is the Green and Gold postgame show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
To 3, the Green Bay Packers, they knock off the Rams at Lambeau Field and get the win. And in doing so, the Packers get their 3rd win of the season. It wasn't pretty by any stretch of the imagination. There's a lot to go over in this contest, no doubt. If you want to chime in, you can, 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. We can talk about there's too many mistakes, and that's still happening. And that, to clean it up, whatever, it's almost very cliche at this point. So I completely agree with you on that. Also, going back to the play of, say, specific players, okay? So today, first of all, I mentioned TJ Slayton. The other one that I got to give a little kudos to, you had Josh Myers go down. They had some shuffling on the offensive line. He left for a few plays and then came back. But Sean Ryan played. I don't know if you knew on that drive, that touchdown drive that Aaron Jones, the first one in the first half, when Aaron Jones ran it in from 3 yards out. Sean Ryan was in on that drive in the last 4 or 5 plays as the Packers were driving the ball down the field. And when he came on the field, because this is the first action I've really kind of had a chance to pay attention to him specifically, he did okay. Sean Ryan did okay for all that's been said about him and all the stuff that he's kind of had to take because of his mistakes last year and the PEDs and such and getting suspended. I thought he did all right. So maybe a 3rd-round draft. Now, again, it's a sample size that is that big. But maybe he could be a 3rd-round draft choice. It could actually stick in some way, shape, or form. Who knows? 877-867-1670. The D-line played well. Kenny Clark goes down. Shoulder did not return to the game today. So we'll have to wait and see what the prognosis is for Kenny Clark. Excuse me. They're going to need him throughout this season. There's no doubt. So Kenny Clark went down today. The defense looked good, not great. Dave, don't say Rasul who. No, because you played a quarterback that had delay of game penalties, missed wide open receivers. You had a quarterback today that looked like a deer in the headlights, looked like he wasn't sure if he was even going to be the starter all the way up until game time, and then it was decided that he was the starter. No. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't say that. They're going to need Rasul Douglas. They're going to miss that leadership. So, but Valentine played well. Valentine brought energy today, and I like that. So, but yeah, Ripien was he was not good by any stretch of the imagination. 877-867-1670. Give us a shout, and we'd love to hear from you if you want to give us a call and chime in. Dave says, hey, guys, he said, I think the game was okay at best. Packers played well, but way too many mistakes, way too many bad plays. If they play like that against Detroit, they're going to get stomped. Steve says, wait till next week when they play a real defense. I don't think the offense will score more than 10 points. TJ Watt's going to eat them up. Mark says, this game was okay at best. Then Nelson says that I think that Jordan Love is getting a little bit better, but not great by any stretch. This one is from, who's this one from? This is from Mark. Mark says, hey, guys, I think we're missing the point here. The offense did just enough to win the game. The defense played lights out and did more than enough to win the game. That is a team win. No matter if it's against a bad team or not, a win is a win. You take it and you move on. Johnny says, I think that this has a long way to go, but at least I saw a couple of glimpses of improvement today. But what is Matt LaFleur going to do to fix all of these pre-snap penalties? You know, the holding penalties and such, okay, maybe you don't practice hard enough. You're not as quick as you thought you were. The guy across from you is getting the best of you. Okay, whatever. But when it comes to pre-snap penalties, those are concentration penalties, man. Usually, especially when you line up and you are in a formation in an offensive line for, say, like a tush push on a fourth down, right? You line up, and usually you have your knee at about the thigh of the guy next to you, moving inward towards the portion of the offensive line. You move in. And that's where and how they ended up the way they did with 2 neutral zone infractions, I have no idea. The second one, I'll tell you, the one with early on, I thought was garbage. I couldn't believe it. When John Runyon got called for being in the neutral zone, I never saw it. And they had it up on the screen, the Jumbotron, and they had it on inside the press box. And we were all looking at each other like, what are we missing here? Is there something? And it was always the far judge. It was always the far line judge that was making the call. So I don't know what he was seeing from that perspective, but God, it wasn't even really close from our perspective. So maybe you get a little bit of a reprieve because maybe you had a whistle happy referee there, but it was bad. I didn't like the calls at all. Overall, not a bad day, though, statistically for Jordan Love. Jordan Love ended up, like I said, 20 of 26, 228 yards, a touchdown, and a quarterback rating of 115. Think about Ripien, though. 13 of 28, 130 yards. That's it. And threw the 1 pick on the afternoon, which was nice. I mean, when Johnson came down with the football after the tip by Jaire, Jaire played good football probably for 3 quarters. The first quarter and a half, not great. But after that, seemed to get into a rhythm, really got a familiarity going, and switched sides, by the way. I don't know if you saw that, but he did play some man, but also in the zone coverages, he switched sides today. He asked Joe Barry, he said, hey, I'm more comfortable on the opposite side. Can we start playing me over there? Because that's where they run their strength. And they let him do it, and he had some success. So kudos to him for recognition. By the way, Green Bay today winning the time of possession battle 35-16 to 24-44. Packers with almost 400 total yards of offense today, 391 versus 187. And when it comes to the return game, Keyshawn Nixon also with a big return today, I think it was a 58-yard return. Davian Wicks and Aaron Jones both today, though, both lost footballs. Not a good day at the office when it comes to this was the first real weather game, I guess, maybe you could say. The weather certainly had something to do with it, making the football slick, but you can't put the ball on the turf and expect to win a lot of games. It's not going to happen. Again, 877-867-1670. If you want to find us, feel free. Go ahead. You got some other games that have been completed. The Texans got a win 39-37 today. C.J. Stroud looked really good. The Ravens put it all over the Seahawks 37-3. The Vikings pull one out late 31-28. They knocked off the Falcons. The Bears lose to the Saints down in New Orleans 24-17. The Commanders over the Patriots 2017. The Browns beat the hell out of the Cardinals. That Browns defense is for real, my friends. Cardinals didn't even put a point up today, 27-0. They blanked them earlier today over in Germany, 21-14. The Chiefs, they beat the Dolphins. The Dolphins had not faced a decent defense, but maybe once this season. And they faced one today. And they ended up getting knocked off for their 3rd loss of the season. They're now 6-3. Chiefs are 7-2. And they are in firm command of the AFC. Again, 21-14 there. And then on Thursday night, as we all know, 20-16, the Steelers They top the Texans, or top the Tennessee Titans. Let's do this. We'll step out. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. Start lining up all your phone calls. A lot of people pouring in. As you can see, it's getting more and more crowded here at Berkel's, one block over, where you can come over and catch the Cowboys and the Eagles just getting underway. You got a really good one this afternoon between those two teams for a battle of supremacy in the NFC. And then also later on tonight, it is the return of the Buffalo Bills and Damar Hamlin into Paycor Stadium in Cincinnati, where they will face off against the upstart surging Cincinnati Bengals tonight. So you got Buffalo at Cincinnati. Right now you've got Dallas and Philadelphia, and the Packers get a win. A lot of good stuff going on. Come on over and say hi. We got a lot more of the Green and Gold postgame show coming up right after this.
This is the Green and Gold postgame show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Way too many. Bad penalties, too. Way too many. Yeah, I agree.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back to the program. The Green Bay Packers get a win. They go to 3-5 on the season. They take it 20-3 over the Rams. Rams just unable to muster anything over Ripien, the backup quarterback, as Matthew Stafford unable to go today. It was likely he wasn't going to play anyway, but Ripien gets the nod and doesn't do a whole lot of anything. In the meantime, Jordan Love, not a bad day at the office, had a couple of underthrows, one overthrow, and overall, not like what you would think, like what you would have expected. You thought maybe by the looks of things, to the eyeball, it wasn't great, but statistically, 20 of 26, 228 yards, a touchdown. Sacked 4 times today, and 2 of those sacks that I attributed were because there wasn't a whole lot open downfield. It wasn't because the offensive line just gave up all kinds of pressure. It just took a long time to throw the football, or at least to decide where the football was going to go, and by then it was too late. But a quarterback rating of 115.5. In the meantime, Aaron Jones, the work dog today, 20 carries, 73 yards, had a touchdown on the afternoon. Wilson takes it, 4 carries, 43 yards today. Broke one loose at the end of the ball game. A.J. Dillon, 9 carries, 40 yards. A.J. Dillon, since basically getting called out by everybody, has been running much, much harder as of late. And you're starting to see that yards per carry begin to inch up, 4.4 yards per carry today. So not a bad day for A.J. Dillon. All in all, 184 yards on the ground today. That is an all-around day. 228 through the air, 184 on the ground. And the Green Bay Packers knock off a flailing Los Angeles Rams team today at Lambeau Field. Again, 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to find us, go ahead and give us a shout again, 877-867-1670. This one's from Mike. Mike says, hey, Bill, Burkle's one block over. Love the place. Been there many times. Trying to get over there later on this afternoon. How late are you going to be there? We're here till 5 o'clock, by the way. He also says he thought that Jordan Love finally had a few good passes that maybe he could write home about. But he said, all in all, not a great performance, but not a poor one either. Maybe he's starting to make some strides. Jesse says, I saw a couple of bad throws, but more so bad route running. We were at the game today and saw some guys rounding off routes, not getting into open space and stopping short. I saw Christian Watson kind of dogging it. Did you see that? Early on in the contest, you bring that up. Good, which is a great observation. Early on in the contest, I don't know, maybe it was mid to late fourth or first quarter. There was a couple of times that Christian Watson, literally they were pass routes. And as he was going out, he was kind of rounding them off, taking it easy, wasn't really like cranking it, but kind of rounded a few things off today. So, and again, he came back later in the ballgame and made the good catch, but ultimately goes out with yet another seeming injury. So we'll see how Christian Watson's doing. But, again, he ends up going down in the ballgame and has to leave. And, the term fragile is being used now with Christian Watson when it comes to his ability to stay available, for lack of a better term. Again, 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Got a lot of people chiming in over in the feed as well. Always love it over there. This one's from Hot Toys, who said, I agree. Jordan Love just doesn't have the arm. Too much air, needs coaching to correct it. Hot toys, let me say this. If you either have it or you don't. I don't, you can talk about coaching. Coaching can say you got to get the ball here. Okay? I mean, you can do that. But if you don't have the arm to be able to do it and the ability to throw it with confidence when you need to really kind of pull back and fire that trigger, you don't have it. You got to figure it out in other ways. You got to figure out how to, which means, here's the thing. If you don't have the arm to zip it, you got to really have the vision. Not all quarterbacks have the same arm as, say, an Aaron Rodgers or a Brett Favre, right? So if you don't have that arm and the ability to wind up and let go, that means you have to have the vision and the knowledge and the foresight to be able to see the hole where it's going to open before it opens. And then you can, if you don't have the arm, that's fine. Just put the ball in that spot at the right time, and it doesn't matter whether you loft it or not. If it has a little more air under it, because the ball ultimately is going to find the hole, and the receiver should then find the ball. But they don't have either going on right now, unfortunately. Let's see here. Paul says, I can't remember Aaron Jones getting that many carries in one game. It's been a while, probably since earlier this season. And don't forget, he was starting to really run the ball pretty well against the Bears when he ultimately went down with the hamstring injury. So he didn't get as many carries as you would have hoped in that game, and he was really churning out some yardage. This one is from Will. One of those ho-hum there goes pick 8. I don't understand that. Rick says we need a real number one receiver. Jason says, why didn't they trade for a receiver before the trade deadline? That would have really helped. Because they hold on to draft choices like Grim Death. And Goody said, now, depending on what you believe, going to the podium the other day, remember when he came down to talk about Rasul Douglas, there were some other things they wanted to talk about at the trade deadline. And one of the questions was, did you consider going after a wide receiver? His answer was yes. They did. The problem is, he said that for what was being asked, there really wasn't a whole lot out there. So he didn't want to give up those coveted draft choices and get a ho-hum, mediocre, non-threat pass catcher. So, which is something, again, that they could maybe go after with the money that they're going to have to spend come free agency. They could fill one of those holes where they don't have a lot of experience and get it done. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's go to Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur speaking at the podium right now. Here's Matt LaFleur.
Did a good job this run. I thought, there was just a lot of splash plays. Isaiah McDuffie felt like he was all over the place. And our guys were making plays. They were having fun, and they were competing. And that's really all you can ask for, is guys just trusting what you see in front of you and going out and playing fast, playing physical, and playing together, doing your job.
Mirror week, what did that mean to you? How did that get defined out there today? Mirror week?
Yeah. Who's okay. All right. Yeah. Well, it's I was wondering, were you in our team meeting? Yeah, it was, very similar schemes, right? In terms of their defense, our defense, and in terms of some of the style. I think offensively, obviously, Sean and I have worked together. My brother's there. There's a lot of familiarity and a lot of things that I would say that we've common concepts really on both sides of the ball. And so that's kind of like what we stressed all week. We've been practicing against this on both sides of the ball since OTAs. And also I think it's, for our guys, whether you're a coach, player, anybody involved, in our organization, with the football part, it's just, you got to look in the mirror. And when things get tough and you have some adversity, it's easy to look out and point out what everybody else is doing wrong. You got to look internally and what can I do better? And I think our guys totally embrace that. And I've seen it throughout the course of the week in practice. And so that kind of was the message.
Aaron says that was a play that was put in this week. What went into that scheme and that design to get in his first NFL touchdown?
I'm trying to remember how exactly that play got in, who suggested it, but it's something that we've seen around the league. That's not the first time that play's ever been run. I know for a fact San Francisco ran it to Kittle a couple years ago, but whether it was John Dunn or Adam Senovich, one of the guys, and just hit the call, and the guys went out there and executed it, and yeah, it was definitely a fun moment for sure.
Executing late, obviously it was lower scoring early, but did those late scoring drives do anything for this offense's confidence and the late QB sneak after the offside calls earlier? What did that mean as well to finish the week right?
Yeah, I think all that. I think all that's so important to be able to make plays, especially in critical situations at the end of the game. Obviously, it was great to see Christian Watson go up and win a 50-50 ball that led to the touchdown. That was a huge play, and that's something that we've been stressing, and we haven't executed obviously up to this point. So for him to do that led to the touchdown, and I thought a lot of the guys came up big late in the game with some critical plays. Romeo Doubs had a really strong hands catch out in front of him. Jaden Reed obviously had a nice route, and that led to the QB sneak. And so hopefully that's something to build upon. I know that it wasn't the most perfect game by any stretch, and there's a lot of things to clean up, but I was proud of the guys in terms of their ability to continue to compete at a high level.
Did you get an explanation on the quarterback sneak offensive, the offsides calls?
Yeah, I got to go back and look at the tape. They called it close, and they called what they called.
You're 4-0 against Coach McVay. Can you speak to the extra level of competition that you might have when you face him?
Yeah, I don't put too much stock into that. Certainly, I mean, there's been a couple times they've been a little bit shorthanded, but in all four games happen to be in Lambeau, which I think is a tough place to play for people. And but yeah, I really don't have much to say about it.
You as the play caller, Jordan as the quarterback, when you have the run game to lean on, what does that do for the offense as a whole?
It definitely opens things up. I think, it felt like in the first half, there was, when we were calling passes, some bad things were happening. So for us to be able to, I don't know how many rushes that were actually called or runs that were called throughout the course of the game, but I know we finished on the stat sheet with like 38 for, what was it, 184. I think anytime you're able to do that, that means you're moving the sticks as well. You're doing a good job on third down. You're just able to get into a much better rhythm. And I felt that today, and I think that it helps everybody. It helps him. It helps me as a play caller. And it usually leads to winning performance.
Lines, you had this is the first game you've had Jones for however much you needed him for quite a while. Is this more what you were envisioning like last summer when you're planning for the season?
Yeah, I think Aaron's been getting healthier each and every week, and certainly to be able to give him the ball as much as we did today, it helps our offense. He's a dynamic player. There's usually good things happen when the ball's in his hands. I know he had the fumble, and he said he had to make up for that, and I think he's done that. I mean, he's done so much for us over the course of the 5 years that I've been here, and he's a guy that I got a lot of love and respect for, just not only as a player and totally trust him, but just how he is on a daily basis. I mean, he's a true leader in our locker room. He leads not only by what he says, but by his actions.
How did you feel your guys did against Aaron Donald today?
Well, I got to go back and look at the tape. I think what did he finish with? 1 sack. He is a dynamic player that can certainly wreck the game, and I think you saw it in the second half when he was out of the game. We got a little bit more aggressive because we did not want him to wreck the game, and it led to a couple of explosive plays. I know we ended up finishing that drive with a field goal, which was obviously disappointing. But he's a guy that I've got as much respect for as anybody in this game in terms of just, I mean, I witnessed it firsthand. It's not a shock to me as to why he's become the player that he is. It's by everything he puts into it. Obviously, he's talented beyond belief, but the guy goes and he works at it every day. And
there you go. That's Matt LaFleur. He talking to the media. Let's do this. We're going to step out. We'll take a quick break. We are broadcasting live. We are at Burkle's, one block over. Packers get a win 20-3. They are 3-5 on the season now after knocking off LA. Next up on the docket, Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. 12 o'clock kickoff next weekend out there in the Steel City. Stick around. We got a whole lot more coming up right after this.
This is the Green and Gold postgame show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. We are wrapping up hour number 1 of the Green and Gold postgame show. We are live. We're at Burkle's, 1 block over. You just heard Matt LaFleur at the podium. And as soon as Jordan Love takes to the podium, we will get that as well and get that for you. Don't forget, we got Mike Clemens coming up in the next hour. And we'll talk with Mike, who is in the locker room right now. I want to find out the condition of Kenny Clark. I want to find out more about Christian Watson and his injury as well. Did not catch the early portion of Matt LaFleur's pressers. So usually that's when he gives the updates. Not that they're that in depth, but we'll see what we can find from Mike coming up here in just a little bit. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Dennis says the best creative play I saw was the pump, the double screen, and the touchdown throw to Musgrave. The touchdown throw to Musgrave was a really good call. It really was. There was a couple of calls that the Packers had today that were really good. They got called back because of penalty. The fourth down play with the run up the gut, they picked up the first down. They got it called back because of a penalty, and then they had a pass play on a crossing pattern over the middle that got called back today. They've had some plays that have worked. It's just been problematic because of their own, gun, foot, bang, boom. They shoot themselves in the foot so often, Will says, how many people are good with this win? Does it really feel like a real win or a yawner? Because of the McDoofus brothers. It feels like, okay, let me say this. First of all, it's a win. You take it. It's a win. But it doesn't feel great because, one, you didn't face Matthew Stafford. Two, there was so much sloppiness to this game. And then three, you and I both saw it. There's nothing here that we're looking at that we're going to go, oh, my God, they played great. No. All we saw was a team that did less bad. You know what I mean? So, next week, hey, they got to go face a staunch defense in Pittsburgh. TJ Watt and company are going to be all over them. Can they protect, Jordan Love? Can they run the ball again? Aaron Jones ran strong today, 20 carries. 20 carries. Special teams, the bad TV guy says special teams are not playing good. No, but finally you got a big return out of Keyshawn Nixon. You've been looking for that. And you did have the miss from Anders Carlson today, his second of the season. So you got some good, you got some bad, and today you had more good than bad. And Merlin says, look, Love's numbers were really good, but it still feels like he's just not the guy. You and I have said this for a while now, and this is what I've said from the very beginning. Whatever the numbers are, throw them aside, okay? Because you'll be able to see it. Like today, I saw some good. The pitch to Musgrave, solid. The 50-50 ball to Christian Watson, solid. Some quick outs, solid. Then there were times that receivers were open, didn't hit them, threw it into the ground. Threw it away from him to where they could barely make the catch. He had a drop today, too. Also, he had a couple of times today where he didn't throw the football to guys that were open. So it doesn't look like it's a big deal, but it actually is. So that's part of the problem, is that maybe you don't see it on TV, but you can see guys running open. You can see the hole they're in, and he doesn't throw the football. So there's some good. There's some bad. There's some ugly. So we'll see what transpires next week. But hang in there. We got another hour yet to go. And light the lines. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. You got the Cowboys and the Eagles knotted up at 7 apiece in a good game this afternoon. You got a good one tonight. Buffalo on the road to Paycor in Cincinnati. That's a good one tonight as well. Stick around. Got another hour of the Green and Gold postgame show, and it's all coming up right after this.
Everywhere you look, from groceries to utilities to gas, prices keep going up. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin can dramatically help lower your energy costs year-round by replacing drafty windows and doors in as little as 6 weeks. And now you can save even more by taking advantage of no interest and no down payment for up to 36 months when you order by November 30th. Bring
All
the
right,
love
bud.
of Wisconsin's outdoors in through the beauty and quality craftsmanship of Pella Windows and Doors. Whether you're updating or upgrading the look and comfort of your home, Pella has extensive lines of customizable options to meet your needs and your budget. Replacing drafty windows and doors can dramatically lower your energy costs. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin offers some of the most energy efficient windows in the industry. 0% interest and no down payment for up to 36 months when you order by November 30th. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
All right, folks, let's get started. Parents, thanks for coming. As many of you know, I'm Coach Mather. Tonight, I want to talk about the season, of which I only have one expectation, that everybody gets stronger. When I say get stronger, I'm not referring solely to physical strength. Sure, we'll be in the weight room, we'll be running stairs, but we're also going to focus on developing mental toughness and grit, because those are the characteristics that allow us to achieve greatness both on and off the court. So how do we develop those things? By getting comfortable with a challenge, by cultivating the confidence necessary to overcome adversity in all forms. That's why I coach. That's my purpose. Every member of this team can lean on me, and I'll teach them how they can lean on themselves and each other.
This message presented by the WIAA and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
158, go! Green 18. Green 19, touch!
This is the Green and Gold postgame show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
It wasn't pretty by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a win. Packers get a 20-3 win over the Rams at Lambeau Field today. They go to 3-5 on the season. The defense made things tough pretty much the entire game, and the Rams' backup quarterback, Brett Ripien, and the Packers' defense forced a couple of turnovers, including the Anthony Johnson Jr., who collected his first interception of the season off of a tip ball by Jaire Alexander, and the Packers defense set up Aaron Jones's touchdown when Jonathan Owens stripped the Rams quarterback Ripien, and Devondre Campbell then recovered the football from the LA, I think it was about the 41-yard line today, and the Packers go on to get the win. The Packers haven't had a healthy Aaron Jones since week 1. And he looked pretty good. He looked solid. He did the yeoman's work today. Jordan Love, 22 of 28, 228 yards, a touchdown, no picks. Aaron Jones, 73 yards on 20 attempts. Added 51 of them, by the way, 51 receiving yards as well. So a day of 124 total all-purpose yards for Aaron Jones. That's a good day at the office. That's a good day for him. So not a bad one. Packers back at it next week, but good to have you on board. We are live. We are at Burkle's, one block over. Thanks so much for joining us. If you want to come by, you can see. If you're watching on the live stream, you can see. If you're watching on the live stream, you can see everybody that's here and hang out. Good crowd on hand. So if you want to get a hold of us, 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. You can also hit us up on YouTube. Go to youtube.com, and you can chime in on the live stream as well. You can find us there, as many of you already have. We got gobs of people listening, Packers fans, maybe some haters as well. That's okay. Everybody's welcome into the program, and everybody's got a comment and capability to do it over on the live stream. So give us a shout. Before we go any further in this one, Jordan Love at the podium. Here's what Jordan Love had to say.
Does it just feel good to win a football game after what you guys have been through the last month and change?
100%. It feels great to get a win. Obviously it's been a tough stretch of games last couple of weeks, and just be able to bounce back and get a win, it always feels good.
See on the throw to Christian that you guys connected on there late.
What was that?
What did you see on the throw to Christian there, the one you connected on late?
Yeah, it was kind of a 3-level throw concept, and he got past the defense. They kind of dropped him. I just put it up there, and Christian went out, made a great catch, great contested catch.
How good and important is it just to get one of those to him?
I mean, I think just for everybody, for him, for myself, it's a confidence booster. To be able to go out there and make that play, it's huge. It's a big time catch for him. It's exactly what we needed in that situation.
Is that what happened on the first one in the first half where you went downfield to him? And did you take anything from that one not working that you applied to the one that you hit on?
No, yeah, the first one, we checked the route and pretty much got an inside release fade down there, and I just kind of underthrew it. He had a step on the DB, perfect route, perfect look for it, and it was just underthrown ball. So something that I was frustrated with and wanted to make sure I make it up to him for that. But the second one, I mean, it's a different concept, but he went up there and just made a great play.
Most of the day, but what did the late scoring drives do for your confidence beyond just getting the win, but being able to put more points on it?
Yeah, I mean, offensively, having that lead, and the message was just go put them out, find a way to go out there and finish the game with the ball, put up some more points, help the defense out, and just put the game away. And just on that note, I mean, defense, they balled out today. They had a great game. Were able to get us the ball back and make up for some of the turnovers we had. And, they played really good. But the message for the offense was just go out there and finish the game, put up some more points and finish the game.
The touchdown to Musgrave, was that designed? I mean, it looked like you looked left and right, but was that all just kind of nonsense there to kind of separate the defenders?
Yeah, I mean, that was a really good play call. Something we kind of just put in this week. But, I mean, there's options to throw it to both guys. And then Luke's kind of on a late trickle down the middle. It was a great finish by him. The middle parted open. And he had one guy to make miss, and he did it, got his first touchdown. So.
Is that what you've been waiting for him? I mean, obviously, he's such an athlete. So between that catching and the downfield one, he really made some splash plays for today.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think we definitely were able to get him in the right position today, give him some opportunities down the field. And, his speed, he's able to get past the defense right there. And, he did a really good job just finishing both those plays off. And this touchdown, I mean, just being able to make a guy miss right there and finish in the end zone, exactly what you asked for and exactly what you need. So it was big time.
Final sneak mean in being able to help you finish with the ball, but also after the offsides calls that were made earlier. I mean, what explanations did you get on those calls?
Yeah, I mean, I think just going forward, just the mindset we had right there to finish the game, it just speaks volume to the O-line. They balled out today, had a great game. And just to, when it's 4th and 1, everybody knows you're about to sneak it right there. They got everybody lined up right over the A-gap, and just be able to get that push and finish that and get that first down is, exactly what we were looking for, exactly what we needed. But, going like you said, the other 2 calls, I'm not really sure. They pretty much just said it was offsides on, I'm not sure who they really called it on, but yeah, so something that we'll look at and clean up going forward. But yeah.
What were you thinking there in the first half? You guys are moving the ball finally in the first half, but you're still not putting up the points. You got the 2 4th down penalties. You missed the deep shot. You didn't get the points at the end of the half. What was your feeling after all that? Yeah, I mean, it's just the feeling was we got to finish the drive better. We started off, we're able to start moving the ball, get a little bit of a rhythm going, and we just weren't able to finish. We'd get in some third down situations that we weren't able to overcome, get down to the red zone, put the ball in the end zone. So it was disappointing, but I think just the way we were able to start moving the ball, get that rhythm going, and finish with, putting ourselves in field goal position was big time for us. And, something that, we need to keep doing going forward. But, I think it was a good start to keep building this offense, getting that rhythm going forward.
Today, feeling getting a monkey off your back. You got a first half touchdown for the first time in a while. You got first win in the first time in a while. Started to have consecutive scoring drives first time in a while.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's exactly what we needed in this situation, like I said, been a couple of tough weeks. Weren't able to finish the games off, and just to come out here and I think just put it together in all 3 phases. Offense played good, defense balled out, special teams we were able to make some plays, and it's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect, but I think just the position we were able to put ourselves in and to come out with a win, it definitely is going to help us, and we just got to keep stacking it going forward.
When you have that run game to lean on, what does that do for you in the passing game?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. I think it just helps open more things up downfield. And then, like you said, just being able to lean on that run game and just know that we're going to pound out those yards and make those, just keep pushing the ball down the field. And I think it's demoralizing for a defense when you're able to run the ball well. And that's what we did. And, credit to the O-line, credit to the running backs, tight ends, everybody blocking. But it was a good feeling to get that running game going today.
About the rhythm. How important was Aaron Jones in establishing that rhythm that you guys got into?
It was very big. Anytime you have a player like that, you want to get him the ball as much as you can, get him going, get him in a rhythm. And I think that's what we did early. We were able to get him some touches, get him going. But, he balled out. He was able to make some really good runs, had a couple good catches. But like I said, anytime you can get him going, get him in a rhythm, it's big time.
I think what would it be like to have him back to 100%? He said this week he pretty much felt 100%. He went out and kind of showed it. What was it like to see that again for the first time since you?
There you go. What you're saying? No, it was good. Obviously, he's been battling through some stuff, and he's a warrior. He goes out there and competes every day, competes every week, and is able to battle through those things that he's fighting. But to get him back healthy, get him 100%, and get going in that rhythm, it's huge.
Jordan, how'd you feel Davian bounced back from the fumble? It looked like on the one you kind of dropped down sidearm, to hit him over by your sideline. You kind of went to him in a key situation there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's all about bouncing back. You never want to make a mistake like that. And, he knows, can't reach the ball out right there. But, we just talked to him on the sideline, like the ball's going to keep coming to you. Just, find a way to bounce back and make those plays. And that's what he did. He kept his head down, kept going. Made a key catch on the sideline right there. But, it's happened. It's an imperfect game. Mistakes happen. It's all about how you respond and bounce back.
The production you guys had today is going to be enough going forward with these next teams you got coming up?
No, I mean, I think it's always, we got to keep building, keep growing. Obviously it's a great win, but, it's definitely just a win this week. You can't base this performance off what's going to happen going forward in the future. So, it's something that we just got to build on, come back next week, ready to go, have that same mindset for the week, preparing, getting ready, and go out there next to you. But, there's a lot of areas to clean up, a lot of things to clean up, and to be better next week.
You've been trying to find momentum for so long. Is the way you close this game out, do you think that could get you something?
For sure. It's awesome to be able to finish the game with the ball right there in that situation, keep the defense on the sideline. But, like you said, just to finish that game with the ball, a couple key runs right there, the fourth down sneak. And, when everybody knows you're going to run the ball right there, it's credit to the O-line just be able to finish that thing off and, the running backs to be able to find those yards and finish. But it's definitely a momentum builder going forward.
How important is it to learn to win with a young team like you guys have here?
Yeah, I mean, that's the name of the game. That's something that I think we've struggled at doing, finding ways to win the close games, the tough games, and just grind out and finish it. So it's definitely something that's hard. It's not easy in the NFL to get a win. So anytime we get it, we're going to cherish it. But that's the thing that going forward, we just got to keep building on, keep growing, and keep finding ways to win those tough games. And, we've been put in some positions where we haven't got the outcome we wanted. And there's a lot of things to learn and grow from. And I think, we're able to keep doing that, keep building. But going forward the rest of the season, it's probably going to be a lot more close games. And we're going to be put in the situations that we've been put in the past. And we just got to find a way to get the outcome we want and find a way to finish those close games, get a win.
More for Jordan. Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that'll do it. That's Jordan Love. He just leaving the podium. So, a couple of things to take away from that. One is he said, look, when guys like Davian Wicks, he ended up with the drop. They caught to him on the sideline, said, hey, we're going to come back to you. And that's exactly what they did. The pass to Christian Watson, that was a pass that he said, hey, we've been working on that. That was a new play they just put in. It was something that they felt that they could get, and it worked. Christian Watson went up and made a hell of a play. Some of the throws that he had, the one to Watson in the back corner of the end zone, didn't work, and it was an underthrown ball. Admittedly, it was an underthrown ball. So he said that he couldn't get it to him. So he didn't make a great play on that. So there's a lot kind of to unpack. Don't forget, coming up here in about 25 minutes from now, we're going to get Mike Clemens with us over inside Lambeau Field. Mike will join us here in just a short little bit. Stay tuned. We're going to take a quick break. We are broadcasting live. We're at Burkle's, one block over. We are here doing the Green and Gold postgame show. If you want to swing in, say hi. We'd love to have you. More of the Green and Gold postgame show after this.
This is the Green and Gold postgame show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Good to have you. We are broadcasting live. We're at Burkle's, 1 block over. It's the Green and Gold postgame show. Packers going to win 20-3. They knock off the LA Rams. Rams head back home after taking this one on the chin. Rippy and not able to get the job done for Matthew Stafford, who was unable to go today. In the meantime, the Packers get their 3rd win of the season. It's not great. You still got a long way to go, but you take it one at a time and you try to just stack a little bit of success today. Look, I follow a lot of websites. I follow a lot of fan feeds, so to speak. And, you're getting a lot of where are all the love haters now? Look, 1 game does not a season make, nor does 2. And we've seen a lot more bad than good. So nobody gloats. But what I will say, as somebody who's looked at things maybe harshly in reality, is that today was not a bad day. There were some mistakes, a little bit of improvement. Maybe they gained some confidence today, but, you got something to build on. Now you got to wait and see, because obviously your downfield threat has been the guy in Christian Watson that everybody's been waiting to kind of break out, and he finally goes up and gets a 50-50 ball, comes down, and he's hurt. So now you got to wait and find out. We'll talk with Mike Clemens coming up here in just a little bit and find out how injured, we'll say, you've got Christian Watson. And then don't forget Kenny Clark left the game today with a shoulder injury as well. So we'll see what happens there. But all in all, it's a win, and you take it. You don't apologize for it. You don't, scrub away the haters for it. You just take it and you move on, and that's all you're supposed to do. Again, 877-867-1670. You want to chime in? All you got to do is give us a shout. Phone lines are wide open. Rick says Love is not special. I don't think he's special. I think there's only a few quarterbacks in the National Football League that are. I think when you look at special, it depends on what, special can be in the eye of the beholder. But I think, we obviously know that Patrick Mahomes special, Joe Burrow special. Tua is working into that category by all means. You can probably, Jalen Hurts has played extremely well and doesn't get nearly enough credit for what he did last year and what he's done for the majority of this season. There's been a lot of special things. Now, when you go from special to above average, that's Tua. That is maybe like Justin Herbert. That is obviously, like I mentioned, Jalen Hurts. That is what you've got going on down in Jacksonville and C.J. Stroud down in Houston. They're above average, and they're somewhat impressive. Then there's a whole bunch of average quarterbacks in the National Football League right now, a whole bunch of them. So if you want him to be average, okay. So far, that's kind of where he's at. I know that a little earlier, our buddy Gerard said, hey, if I had to grade him, I'd probably give him a D at this point. Some may. C-, D, just because some of the play has not been good. I understand that. Maybe he climbs out of that. But you would like to get at least to a B average, a B grade by the end of the season. So we'll see what he can do. 877-867-1670. Michael says Watson is soft, needs to toughen up. The problem with that, Michael, is that some guys are just prone to get banged up. Now, the one thing that I think Christian Watson can do, and this is where you have to kind of be, how shall I say, you got to be careful when you start training your body in this particular way. But if he takes a page out of Aaron Jones' playbook, Aaron Jones, after his rookie season, went away and worked on his body. He leaned down, and then he ended up building up muscle because he wanted to be able to take the rigors of the NFL, the day in and day out, and the pounding that he took. Like today, 24 touches on the afternoon. So if Watson bulks, he doesn't have a lot of fat, but if he bulks up, he can take the pounding, but you got to make sure you don't bulk up to the point that you lose that couple of tenths of second or hundredths of second of speed. You don't want to slow down because of it. So, but I agree with you. He needs to figure out a way to get a little bit tougher. Otherwise, he's going to find himself on the outside looking in. The old adage is coming into training camp each and every year, you're not going to make the club from the tub. And as much as they've got invested in him and as fast as he is and as speedy and talent-wise as he can be, not that he is, but as he can be, he's got to remain available. I mean, that's it. That's it. Steve says, without the stupid penalties again, this could have been a blowout. 2 fourth down penalties and 2 fumbles. Who knows how those drives could have ended? And I agree. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. But the problem with that, Steve, is this is the same thing we've been talking about every week. We talked about it against New Orleans. They got a win, but we talked about it against New Orleans. We talked about the stupid penalties that cost them down in Atlanta. We talked about that afterwards. We talked about it against the Minnesota Vikings. They could have had some more scores. We keep talking about the same thing. So after a while, you can say, well, woulda, coulda, shoulda. But after a while, you got to say, there's an innate problem here of some type, whether it's discipline, concentration, whatever it happens to be, or sometimes talent will breed penalties or lack thereof. If guys are beating you, then you don't have a choice. You're grabbing, you're holding, you're doing things that are unconventional because you're just doing anything you can to possibly survive, just to survive. Chris says, do you think they're going to use Aaron Jones a lot more? It seems to take some of the pressure off of Jordan Love. Absolutely. It's amazing how important suddenly the run game has become, right? Because we knew they were going to have to run the football, but when Aaron Jones went down, the onus was on the back of Jordan Love. Now that Aaron Jones is back, the obviousness of having Aaron Jones, having him be able to run the football, having him be able to catch the ball out of the backfield, having that weapon at your disposal, absolutely it takes the pressure off. Absolutely. Paul says, if the running game wasn't working today, we would have lost. That 50-50 ball was either late or underthrown. The guy has all day to throw in most circumstances, and he still sucks. Ryan says, Reed is looking more like a favorite target of Jordan Love this season based upon his overall stats this year. Well, Jaden Reed, first of all, played extremely well in camp. Secondly, he really did. He took over some of the Romeo Doubs reps and pass looks because he's been able to get open, and he's been really good in the slide. As opposed to guys that are playing as split wide, they have not been able to get open. Their initial move has not been great. I noted that earlier in the program, that today there was 2 or 3 times where he had receivers downfield. Nobody had a crisp route, and nobody has really a technique of getting off the line and getting open. And all they're doing is then trying to outrun their opponent. Sometimes the plays basically happen too fast. You have to have a move to be able to press to get open, to get that yard or 2 separation. So that way, when you get to the window and the ball is already there, it's an easy catch and run. And what you're finding is that when you do get open and wide open, that He's not delivering you the football right away and on time and on target. And then when you don't get open, he's still trying to force it in there, and the ball gets knocked down and it falls incomplete. Today you had more completions than incompletions. So you take it. You move on. 877-867-1670. This one's from Justin, who says, hey, great time today at the ball game. I hope the Packers can continue this. I'm going to be in Pittsburgh next week. What are your thoughts on facing T.J. Watt? It still sickens me that they didn't take him in the draft. T.J. Watt is a game wrecker. That team, that Pittsburgh team, has won a lot of games because of their defense. And they won again this past, Thursday night because of their defense. They stymied the run game of the Titans. They were all over Will Levis, 20-16. It wasn't pretty, but Kenny Pickett did just enough to get the job done in the fourth quarter and ultimately to get the win. That team, they're 5-3 for a reason. They're not that good, but their defense is stifling. And so next week, when we talk about all this stuff about, hey, is everybody off of Jordan Love's back? Okay, one game doesn't a season make. Let's see what he does next week. Let's see what this offense does next week. And if they get a win and they look good doing it, they score 24, 27, what have you, and they do it against that defense, then you start to say maybe they've started to turn the corner and they're on the right track. But next week, real test. Then they come back home. They take on San Diego. Before then, they go on Thanksgiving Day on that Thursday morning game, and then they take on the Detroit Lions. And if you turn the ball over, you commit penalties, you just make stupid mistakes, it could end up being the exact same results as what we saw earlier this season when the Lions came and just whooped the hell out of the Green Bay Packers on their home field. So by no stretch of the imagination of the Green Bay Packers out of the woods, but like I said before, you take it. It's a step in the right direction. 877-867-1670. 4 years in the league, Bill. 4. C.J. Stroud has played 8 games. Do you think we know what we have by now? Billy? Yes. You and I have an opinion, and I have tried to keep my mind open. I try to look at things realistically. Yes, am I opinionated? Absolutely, 100%. And I have said all along, prove me wrong. I welcome it. Prove me wrong. I don't mind admitting I'm wrong. Prove me wrong. I was wrong on Rashan Gary. Rashan Gary's turned out to be a hell of a player. I like what Rashan Gary's turned into. I like the inspirational side that he brings to the team. I like the fact that he's the last introduced. They introduced the defense today, by the way, coming out of the tunnel. He's the last guy to be introduced, and he's the guy that the crowd gets up for. He's become somewhat of a fan favorite. He gets the contract because of it. I was wrong on Rashan Gary. Now, I said that day, and I'll say it again, he's not Reggie White. Reggie's not walking through that door in the body of Rashan Gary, but Rashan Gary has been really good. What's been somewhat, I guess, disappointing has been the play of Preston Smith. I have not seen Preston Smith play really well. I watched him today. He does get push. He does get some penetration, but he's not that game wrecker that he and Zadarius Smith was back when the Smith brothers first came upon their arrival. He's not that same guy. So Preston Smith probably coming towards the end of his deal and end of his career in Green Bay, unless, of course, statistically he starts really ramping it up and starting to become a game wrecker again. But no, I like Rashan Gary. I think Rashan Gary has earned his money, and certainly for what they got him for, according to the people that do the cap, they got him for a really good deal, especially as those salaries continue to escalate. But I want to see Rashan Gary fully recover next year from that knee, continue to progress this year, and then let's see if he can raise that glass ceiling a little bit more and blow through that thing. That'd be great. That'd be great. Rick said Englebar played well today. Damn straight he did. He had it going on. Yes, he did. He blew up a couple of plays, and there were plays that he was tracking down from the backside, wasn't even really a part of. But that cat was working. I don't know if you watched it, because sometimes people just watch the ball. And that's fine, because that's where the action is. But sometimes you watch trailing on the play, you watch the backside of things. Ooh, Englebar was working it, man. He was working hard today, no doubt. Brenda have not heard the results of any of the indication for Kenny Clark, whether it's I think the MRI is going to come tomorrow, but the shoulder, I think, was negative. X-ray wise, we'll find out more from Mike Clemens coming up here in about 10, 15 minutes. Stay tuned. We are broadcasting live. We are at Burkle's, one block over. It's the Green and Gold postgame show. Phone lines are wide open, cats. You want to jump on board? Do it. Would love to hear from you. Let's go to Ron, listening to us in Wausau. Ron, welcome to the program, man. What's going on?
Hey, Bill. I'm the Packer truck. I stopped to saw you a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, great. No, I appreciate it. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. I was just like, I thought that with Douglas leaving, I didn't think that the defense played that bad this week. I mean, I was thinking that they were going to really miss him. So what's your take on the replacement?
I thought Valentine played pretty well. I thought he had a couple of moments where they began to pick on him. Now, again, you're talking about Ripien. He's not a seasoned quarterback. He's not a guy that's looking and can place the ball anywhere he wants to. So, yeah, I think Valentine did. He put it this way. It was a great game to take over as a starter. When you have Brock Ripien there as the guy that you're facing and you have some good wideouts to get a good kind of gauge as to what your moves are going to be against these guys who can get open, but you didn't have a quarterback who could deliver the football and deliver it on time. So now we'll find out what next week brings, and then the week after that against Justin Herbert, and then the week after that you get Jared Goff and company and Amon-Ra St. Brown. And so he'll kind of gradually build up to facing a really good football team. But, no, I thought he held his own today. And he had a couple of tackles, too, I thought, that he was on the backside of. So I like the way he played. And I love the enthusiasm that he brought today because he knew there was – and they're thin in the secondary, so he knew he was the guy. He was kind of like the last line of defense, so to speak, no doubt. I thought he did well.
At the end of the game, I thought the same thing. I thought, man, I am glad that they didn't have their starting quarterback because I don't know if this game would have turned out the same way. I really don't. Yeah. Thanks. Enjoy your show.
All right, bud. Appreciate it. Talk to you soon.
Yeah.
There you go. That's our guy in a truck. Packer truck. Love it. Ron from Wausau. Good stuff. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. It's the Green and Gold postgame show live at Burkle's, one block over up here in Green Bay. Stone's throw away from Lambeau Field. We are glad to have you. Going to hear from Mike Clemens coming up here in about 10 minutes. Stay right where you're at. More right after this.
This is the Green and Gold postgame show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
(20-3) the final, and the Packers get a win. They go to 3-5 on the season. We are now almost, well, depending on how you look at it, the official halfway point of the season. And we'll talk about that upcoming this week as the Green Bay Packers, obviously a sub-500 record, not a great situation. Looked a little bit better today. Make all the excuses you want. Win's a win, and you take it. You take it. But they get the win. They knock off the Rams coming up here in just a few. We're going to talk to our guy Mike Clemens over inside the locker room, inside Lambeau Field. Many of you, Thomas says, hey, I give the Packers credit. They beat a bad team today. It was against the Rams without Stafford. It made the D look pretty good. Look, all you got to do is take what you see. We saw an inept performance by a backup quarterback who was kind of thrown into the mix, even though you're supposed to be ready. Look, Ripien was thrown into the mix. There was a question almost right up till game time. Now, I know late last night and early today, Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport both reporting that Matthew Stafford was not going to play in this contest. So Ripien had to know he was going to be the guy, and he kind of worked out this week as if he was the guy. And he didn't look good. All right, he just didn't look good. We all know that. He didn't look good. He didn't have much run support either. Give the Packers credit because Ripien didn't throw the ball real well. But the Packers also stuffed the run. 26 carries, 68 yards. They sacked, although the only thing that bothers me is they only sacked Ripien once. One time for 11 yards. That was it. They hurried him a couple of times, but only one sack on the day. You got to get to quarterbacks more than that. But they did hold their own in allowing only 2.6 yards per carry. That's not bad. So for as much as you want to say, hey, it was a bad quarterback and they defended the ball and yada, 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 and the secondary played well. But so did the guys up front. 26 carries, 68 yards, 2.6 yards a carry. That's a pretty solid day. And you at least got to give them some credit. You have to. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Randy says the Rams aren't that bad. They got Cup. They got Puka. Their defense is still all right. This is true. This is true. And their defense is pretty tough. Their defense has played teams tough this season. Now, offensively speaking, they were still, even with, Cooper Kupp and company and Nakua and Puka Nakua, look, and Tutu Atwell as well. So they got a decent group of receivers. Tyler Higbee, by the way, really solid tight end, but they just didn't have a guy to deliver him the football. That's it. Still a pretty decent team, but they just didn't have a guy to deliver them the football. Mark says that I think this is kind of a hollow victory. It doesn't change my mind much about the Packers, other than that teams worse than them they can beat. What are your thoughts? Did it change my mind? No, of course not. Well, I guess my question would be, what would it change? What would your thoughts be? Like, the defense isn't any good? I've always thought the defense was average. I never said they were great, never said they were bad. I said they were average, and that they played pretty well today. They stepped up. They had some injuries. They've had, obviously, a lack of depth in the secondary, and they played well. Give them credit. But, like many of you have pointed out, they played against a rather inept quarterback today who was just kind of getting his feet wet. So, but you take it. You don't negate it. You don't knock a guy because his opponent isn't as good as him and he does his job. Right? 877-867-1670. Let's do this. Yeah, right. The bad TV guy says tip balls at the line, big for the defense, fundamentals. And this one says I'd be the only one that has that one when you talk about tackles and such. That's from Michael C. This one's from Steven, who says, go Pack go, not picky, penalty in the first half, or they blow them out. Great defense second half, especially after a couple of fumbles. 23 had an all-pro second half. Second half, Steve, I agree. Really 3/4 of that game. The first couple of pass plays in his direction, not great. After that, really started to play well. 877-867-1670. When we come back, we're going to hear from our own Mike Clemens. Mike's going to join us, and we'll talk with him live over inside the locker room. Lambeau Field. Mike Clemens will be here. That is coming up next. Packers going to win 20-3 over the Rams. We are live. We're at Burkle's one block over. It's the Green and Gold postgame show. More coming up right after this.
This is the Green and Gold postgame show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Good to have you. It's the Green and Gold postgame show. Packers going to win 20-3 over the Rams. And, yeah, it was a lackluster Rams team. There's no doubt about that. I'll give you that. It wasn't a staunch Super Bowl winning team, but you take it. You do the best you can. You win. You move on. Aaron says, real quick, twofold for the Packers. I would consider this a twofold win. One, I'm not going to fault or penalize the Packers for getting a win over a bad team with a backup quarterback. You did what you're supposed to do. What are they supposed to do? Lose? They did what they needed to do. And two, the win does not mean that the Packers have improved. It doesn't mean that they are moving in the right direction. It doesn't mean that they are any closer to last week to where they needed to be. All in all, I don't see many positives, but Love just simply can't throw the football. Watson can't stay on the field. Cue his family rushing to his defense on Twitter, and Joe Barry in the defense has not arrived just because you beat a backup quarterback. Keep up the good work. That is from our buddy Aaron, listening to the program and hanging out with us. So we appreciate Aaron being here as well. We'll get Mike Clemens on coming up here momentarily as soon as he's ready, and we'll go over to Lambeau Field and talk to Mike, and hopefully Mike will give us a little bit of an update on some of the things that are going on over there. In addition to that, I want to hopefully find out a little bit more about Kenny Clark, maybe even Christian Watson, who went down after going up for the 50-50 ball. So, we'll talk with Mike about all of that coming up here momentarily. We go for, let's do this. Now I'm being told Mike's on the line. Let's go to Mike Clemens over at Lambeau Field. Michael, how you doing, pal?
I'm okay. I feel better after spending the last hour in the Packers locker room because, as you and I were kind of glancing at each other during the press box today, here you see Jordan Love get the football at the start of the game and line up. And, you see the guy trot out there, huddle up his guys, call the play, set up behind the center, look around. Timing is there. Rhythm is there. Ball is snapped. Footwork seems to be okay. And they're running routes that are slicing up the Rams secondary. And except he plants those feet and he's either overthrowing on deep balls or underthrowing, like to that one ball to Malik Heath, who was active today. They put Samori Torre on the inactive today, and I don't know if that was an injury. But, I mean, the guy was 15 yards over the middle, nice pace, nice route, and he put it in the grass. And how many times did you see guys wide open and Love just couldn't complete the play with a simple pass? It was horrible. And I didn't think that, but they kept trying. Keyshawn Nixon, to start off the second half, he returns it 51 yards. And on the very first play, the offense has a fumble and loses it. It's just how they take themselves out of rhythm. Not to mention penalties again. Was it 7 or 8 penalties by halftime? False starts, all this other garbage. So I that part I can't believe that they had this broken record. I guess it's a good thing that Matthew Stafford was not available today. Otherwise, I'm sure this would have been a different game. Nevertheless, you got a turning point from your defense. I thought the biggest play of the day was in the second half, and Rippon is back there to pass, and he's trying to throw to that veteran receiver, Cooper Kupp, who it looks like he was going to get a catch, except Jaire Alexander comes out of nowhere, deflects that ball, it goes a couple of feet in the air, and the rookie, Anthony Johnson, they had 4 safeties this camp. It was Darnell Savage, Rudy Ford. Well, they were both injured. Jonathan L. Owens has been out there for the last couple of weeks. And then today, you saw this Anthony Johnson, rookie, late-round pick, make that key interception, and he talked about it after the game.
Quarterback was looking one way. I broke that way. Ja came out of nowhere, tipped it up, caught it. That's just kind of how it was.
Did you think you had a clean shot if Ja didn't get the handoff?
I don't know because I don't know because I think it was a good ball, and it might have been a little bit away from me. It would have bang play, I think.
So it was helpful.
It was very helpful. Very helpful.
How do you?
Mike, first couple of pass plays, I think two out of the first 4 or 6. There was a couple that went Jaire Alexander's way. He gave them up, but I got to say, Jaire really came on strong. Second, third, fourth quarter, obviously played really well today.
Yeah, giving the ball back to his offense. Now, listen, Jaire Alexander made it clear, the Rasul Douglas trade was a punch in the gut. And yes, with his now being gone by Tuesday night, I know that I had to step up in my way to become the leader of that room. And so he emphasized that. He emphasized things that they talked about. But I think what Jaire wants to point out the most is that collectively the defense, whatever was across the field, and Sean McVay still is, after 7 years in the NFL, 2 trips to the Super Bowl, 1 ring, one of the best coaches in the league, he said, at least we held these dudes to 3 points.
Yeah, no, I think, like I said, we always have stuff to clean up as a defense. We probably should have held them to 0, but, it is exciting to see just 3 points. You can win a lot of games like that. It almost reminded me of back in 2018 when we held Josh Allen to 0 points here in Lambeau. But it was fun, man. I wish we could have held him to 0, but, we'll try again next week.
So, Mike, the kind of, early on in the ball game, some okay throws from Jordan Love, but you had mentioned it too, that there was some game there that he didn't connect, or he didn't throw the ball at all. We saw guys that were open that the hole closed too quick by the time he recognized it. But finally, late in the ball game, he gets the 50-50 ball to Christian Watson and a really nice, well-designed play to Luke Musgrave.
Watson, after making that catch, he hit the ground, leaves the game with a chest injury, a back injury, and a possible concussion.
Oh, jeez.
One big play, and the guy's back in there in the tent again.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, Luke Musgrave also caught a touchdown there in the north end zone over the middle after an incredible play. I thought for sure Jordan Love was screwing up a play. He acted that thing so well. He gets the ball shotgun. He looks to his left. Then he does a 360, or I guess a 180 it would be. Looks to his right, and then he comes back over the middle and throws to a wide-open Luke Musgrave, who chipped a little bit, then released down to the middle of the field. And we talked about that crazy catch.
Yeah, I credit it to Matt, who drew it up, I think. To our whole coaching staff, I don't know who drew it up, but great play design, great execution, great blocking. I really had the easy job. So I credit it to everybody else.
But then you had to jet a little bit to get there, too. I mean,
a little bit, but again, I mean, I had the easiest job, I think.
Hey, Mike, real quick while I'm thinking of it, any word on Kenny Clark? I know you left the game with that hurt shoulder.
Yeah, he had his shoulder. And yes, listen, I did not get a chance to interview him, but he had about 20 reporters around him. So, I wouldn't say that he broke something or was season ending, but obviously, I'm just guessing now that, he had it looked at to make sure it wasn't more serious. And I'm assuming that he was talking to reporters, that he was assuring people that whatever the x-rays were, they were negative, right?
That's good. That's good.
Now we talked to Musgrave too about, all right, so you guys, you followed through, even though you still didn't have much points in the first half. You started putting up the points toward the end of the game. What was different about this week?
I think we just executed well. Again, like it was a reflection week, and we looked at everybody individually, looked at what they wanted to do better, and I think we improved, and we're going to keep on improving and keep on this trajectory. But there's a big reflection week is what we called it, and I think we did well.
did this game reflect what you did in practice this week? Because by all accounts, you had a good week.
Yeah, great week of practice. One of our best weeks of practice, and we knew that coming in, and I think we showed that here in the game.
Mike, this was a team that early on, you and I and everybody else upstairs went, oh, God, same old. They finally put a touchdown up in the first half, but the way things were and the way it ended, missing a field goal, and they were moving the football, but they couldn't do anything with it. And we've seen this, kind of story before. It's wash, rinse, repeat. Finally got it kind of going. Maybe they learned from a few of their mistakes, and maybe we actually saw a little bit of progress in the second half.
Yeah, you saw Jordan Love where maybe he would get one completion. Or he would get a decent enough run from Aaron Jones. But then there'd be 2 incompletions, and now they're in the 3rd and long. Or good things would happen. Rashan Gary gets into the backfield, right? The very next play, they line up, and he gets another play in the backfield, except then the ref throws his flag and says, you lined into the neutral zone. I mean, the penalties and how they kill their best work are just amazing. And like I said, I talked to Luke Butkus about the offensive line mistakes, and he says, we don't teach them how to avoid penalties. We teach perfect technique. And if you do the perfect technique, that will eliminate the penalties as well. Jordan Love just said a few minutes ago, though, about moving the ball in the first half. At least they got that going today. Still couldn't convert in the red zone, but still coming up short on points.
The feeling was we got to finish the drive better. We started off, we were able to start moving the ball, get a little bit of a rhythm going, and we just weren't able to finish. We'd get into some third down situations that we weren't able to overcome, get down to the red zone, and, weren't able to put the ball in the end zone right there. So it was disappointing, but I think just the way we were able to start moving the ball, get that rhythm going, and finish with, putting ourselves in field goal position was big time for us. And, something that, we need to keep doing going forward. But, I think it was a good start to keep building this offense, getting that rhythm going forward.
Mike, always good stuff. Any quick takeaway?
Yeah, just that, did we see progress from Jordan Love today? I guess just a little bit. I think for me, I think he's about 3 weeks behind schedule where he should be. That's all.
Yeah,
that's all.
Mike, great stuff. We got all day tomorrow to talk about it too. I appreciate it, pal.
Yeah, I got some good stuff for you too, Bill. Have
Excellent.
a good day.
Looking forward to it. There you go.
Bye-bye.
That's our Mike Clemens over inside Lambeau Field, fresh out of the locker room. Well, Packers get a win one more time. One more time before an announced crowd of 77,409. To see it, it was the Green Bay Packers 20 and the LA Rams 3. The Packers go to 3-5. Next up on the docket, the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll talk about all of this tomorrow.